First in the mornings, originally from the Bayou State of Louisiana.
I say, here at Cajun Roots Reseller, you give me an offer and I'll take it.
You got the dollars? You got the dollars? See the special man on YouTube. He's got it all.
I got an offer. I got the dollars. Let me have it, please. I got the dollars.
I say. This is Johnny's, the place that'll let you have it with no problem.
Let him have it.
Johnny has a sale right now. I say. This is Johnny's place. Let him have it with no problem. See the special man.
Here at Cajun Roots Reseller, you give us the offer.
You got the dollars. You got the offer. Well, let him have it with no problem. Let him have it.
You got it.
I am looking for some jewelry in Devon.
Do you have any credit?
No, I was recently involved in a divorce in Devon. Look, I'm not one of those maybe it's Maybelline gals, okay? I just want to go out on the town with Sheila and accessorize some.
See, special man.
I don't know about you, but this Joe girl is going to Johnny's place. Check out Cajun Roots Reseller right now. I say. Go see the special man and tell him the Dough Girl sent you.
Hello, good morning and welcome on this Taco Tuesday. Today we are 61 degrees. The highs are supposed to get us 76 today. First in the chat was Craig. Wake up, Craig. Hello, good morning and welcome. Hashtag Night Glenn. Regina, hello, good morning and welcome. And Randy, hello, good morning and welcome. And Mark, Sarcastic Storage Stacker. Hello, Mark, good morning, hello, and welcome. Joe, hello, good morning and welcome. Little Debbie, hello, good morning and welcome. And how are you doing? Good to see you. Robin, hello, good morning and welcome. And how are you doing? Already working in the yard? I hit Ed. And Unique Magic, hello, good morning and welcome. And how are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. Oh, you're awake now. Awesome. Yeah, little Debbie, how are you duckies doing? And the Dough Girl sent you awesome. raid already this morning. Oh, that's the rapid fire round today at 12:45 today. Come and check it out. We got two new people on the panel who has never done auctions before and will be here for the first time on this channel. Come check it out. You go check out the description where you'll see everybody who's in there and lined up on who's coming in what order in the description bar of today's video. It's me, Angie. Hello, good morning, and welcome, Angie. And I spy a Queen Anitra. Hello, good morning, and welcome, and how are you doing? Teresa, hello, good morning, and welcome, and how are you doing? Good to see you. Welcome. All right, usually I go through the calendar, but today I'm going to skip the calendar. So if you want to see who's going on live, definitely go through the community tab below and check out the tab of the calendar, the link, and you get to see who's on, because we got a great show lined up for today, just like on Thursday. So every Tuesday and Thursday, as I was requested to try to bring on guests, talk about different ways of sourcing. And why not start it off with someone that I've done it myself, so I know the little ins and outs of it, but why not have somebody who does it all the time? Also, we'll talk and have questions if you're interested in wanting to think about getting into storage units. Well, we have a great one to come across on that one today, and that's none other than Mark from Sarcastic Storage Sticker. Good morning. How are you doing?
How y'all doing? It's a little early in the morning, but here I am.
That's
all
right.
And, coffee caffeinated. Here we are.
And for those who don't know what you do on your channel, do you have YouTube open?
I don't. I can see the chat and everything. So if I see anybody that says, like, Debbie, hey, how you doing, Debbie? It said join the chat, and then I haven't done that part yet. So I'm just seeing the comments. And
so what we're going to do is Mark's going to tell you a little bit about his channel, what he does on Sundays, a little bit about what he does on his shows, and a little bit about his videos that he does. And then we'll get into some question and answer. So Mark, take it away and tell everybody about your channel and what you got going on your channel.
Yeah, I'd say most of you guys know me here, but I am a retired, I'm a retired person who is buying storage units to stay active. And I do YouTube on all the lockers that I buy. I have a variety channel, as y'all know. We have a live stream every Sunday where we help people look for storage units in their area if they want. And we got Glenn and Joy of the Storage Bandits that do help. And they are great co-hosts. We've been doing we're on our third year of our live, and it's a lot of fun. We're at a bad time on the Sundays, but it just works out so well for us. And the channel's more or less about my life and everything, not just storage units. It's like my retired life and how being retired is no good in itself. You have to have something to do. So I buy storage units, been buying them for 13 years, and I'm not afraid to give away any secrets on it because the secret's already out anyway. I'm just willing to share it. And if anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
There's his channel link, y'all, if y'all haven't checked it out. He does his shows where he even has you drop a zip code if you're interested, and he'll even look through the and I'll let him talk a little bit more about the website he uses. I even use that website myself. And that way he'll even walk you through, and again, he'll tell you more like, is it a good unit? Why would he not bid on it? Or why would he bid on it? And what does he see? And kind of help you guide you through what to look for. So the first question I'm going to ask is, when you are looking out for these units, what makes you pick up a unit, or what is it you look for within you just looking? Because a lot of those that you're doing are online, correct?
Yeah, pretty much 99% of the lockers I buy anymore are online, because where I'm at in Louisville, Kentucky, we're really just not, there's just not any live auctions anymore. They're all online. So
right.
Correct. Yes.
So what determines you when you're looking at these units? What is you're looking for that'll make you say, okay, I'm going to bid on this unit? And then the second part of that is, what is the way or method you use, and what's the highest you're going to pay for that unit or bid wise?
Well, here's my thing. If I see a unit I want, I'm pretty much going to buy it unless the price goes stupid, because that policy has paid off well. Every now and then you might overpay for one, but in the long run, if you get what you perceive to be the absolute best, you got to go for it. You got to kind of like control your area. What I do, I have a 5-mile radius of my home when I'm on Storage Treasures, and that is the most used website I think in the country, I believe actually in the country, storage treasures. I bought hundreds of lockers on there. And so I go to a 5-mile radius. I look for the main clues. The main clues for me is antiques, and especially dust. Dust, antiques, and sadly, a sign that somebody has passed away. You put those three things together, I'll pay up. I will. I'm more of a treasure hunter, so to speak, than an actual reseller. We have to resell to get our money back, obviously. So reselling is a very big, important thing in what I do. And I would suggest anybody in the chat, or anybody that is a reseller that knows, that doesn't buy storage units, that knows a storage auction buyer, get to know them. You're going to be able to find some really good bundle deals. And
so this brings me to my next question, because not everyone, like in your case, you do not sell on any particular platform when it comes to like eBay, Mercari, Etsy, or Posh. So for those who don't have, like in your case, doesn't sell on any particular platform, how and what do you do to get rid of some of that product that you have found in these units? How do you sell them? How do you resell them?
It's really, really easy. All the items in these units, all the big ticket items, all the good stuff that we can sell on Facebook Marketplace, we sell on Facebook Marketplace. I don't sell on eBay, but indirectly I do sell on eBay because I have certain genres of stuff like video games, just regular eBay items that we can't really put up on Facebook Marketplace. I barter. I trade to a eBay guy who happens to be someone I met in the live auctions that we collab with. And 2 or 3 times a year, he comes by. I give him a few $1,000s of merch that I've saved up for him. He pays me off barter. It's called bartering, in gold scrap or silver scrap. So we've developed a relationship there. So kind of always look for somebody who's going to have a lot of stuff. Make some deals with them in your area, you know.
And that goes back to always letting somebody know what you're doing, because you never know what they do. And like in your case, you can swap stuff out for, like you like the gold and silver. So that way you can kind of, and that's what's called as bordering, because I've done it before myself, to where it's a lot easier getting rid of a lot of product in exchange for getting what you really want out of it. And you're still getting your money for those products.
Yeah. And one thing people don't consider about storage units is how much stuff that you need, that you find in storage units, that you do not have to buy because you buy a storage unit. I call that usage profit.
Yep.
So things like little incidentals, dish soap, bar soap, shampoos. Not that I need any shampoo, but you know what I mean. Yeah, and all that stuff you find in storage units, including gold and silver. As you know, you can find that. And you haven't bought 1 million of these things, and you've already found it. So I rest my case on that.
So if you have any questions having to do with reselling or going into purchasing storage units, that's basically our topic for the day. As y'all requested, we did reach out to a few other people to see. We have different topics every Tuesday and Thursday. And today we're going to kick it off, like I said, in July, I was going to start it off to where we can get started in you having questions about different ways of sourcing. And this is just one of those ways. We have a question from Randy. Do you have a lot of competition in your area for these lockers?
Randy, I do. I have a lot of competition, and I think some of them watch our Sunday show just to see what I'm looking at. So a lot of times I won't show the lockers that I'm specifically looking at on our show just because of that. But I have a 5-mile radius around my home in my zip code, and I pay up. And I stand firm in this area. If I see a locker I like, I'm either going to buy it, or whoever else gets it's going to be paying too much for it. And that's the way I handle it. And I'll answer any questions y'all got. It's a good one, Randy. Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's what we want to do. We want to have you have those questions, especially if you're thinking about or you haven't done it yet and you're thinking about it. That's why I asked Mark to come on up, because I know he's one of those that every Sunday he'll let you drop your zip code in the chat and he'll look it up for you. And then if you have a mile radius that would be the furthest you would go. He would look that up as well, and he'd guide you on how to do that if you've never done it before. But one of the things you always have to look at when doing these storage units is you got to kind of look the whole picture, because a lot of times, even if you were to go in person, you cannot step over that threshold of that unit. So you have to look as best as you can. So what is your technique that you do for those who are not sure how to look into those pictures they show on the website? How do you determine how to look within that storage unit without actually seeing and being physically there?
I like to get the pictures on my big screen. Okay. It's so much better, in my opinion. A lot of people disagree with me, but I like online auctions better than the live auctions because you can war game these things. You can pick targets. When you're at a live auction, you got to think boom, 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 and, and the auctioneer, and it gets very confusing. And you go, yep. Well, it's easy when you're on your couch. You can pet your cat. You can sit here and relax. Look at the lockers you like and zoom in the pictures. Go in every picture they show. Look at all the nooks and crannies. Blow it up. If you have to, download the picture and blow it up even more on your computer. Find little clues. You determine what might be in hiding by what you can see. It's not a perfect science, but there are signs to look for. And once you know what you're doing, your system's going to work once you get going with it. Look for dust, for antiques, look for items you need in a storage unit. If you need a washer dryer and you see a new set in there, well, you've just gained a tactical advantage here. All of a sudden, you know that if you need to go buy a washer dryer, that's going to cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, if you see them in sets in a storage unit, they're usually pretty good. It's if you see a single one, beware, because somebody might have gone out and they're not sure what to do with it yet. So that's another little clue. Yeah.
All right. So when they're looking at these units online and they're not there in person, talk a little bit about what they should do when it comes to what's the difference between an actual unit that's for sale and a manager special. So they can stay away from those manager specials.
Yeah, manager specials are only good for what you can see, because that's just like a manager spill off or a locker that somebody surrendered that they don't want to mess with anymore. They're just going to say, you can have it, sell it. They might go in there and look around at that case. Anything that's a lien sale storage unit, which means the people haven't paid yet. And if they don't, it's going to auction. Those kind are the ones you want. The manager specials are just something a manager might have took stuff out of his own basement just to get rid of it and put it in there. You don't know. It doesn't matter. It's just only buy those if you see something you specifically want. Don't buy them because they're a great unit or you're going to find anything hidden, because you won't. Not usually. I mean, it could happen, but I wouldn't count on it.
All right. So our next question is so starting from scratch, how would one handle emptying of the locker, moving the furniture, sharing the furniture, storing the furniture, and then selling it? Who has that much space?
Well, I'll tell you what, some people have it, some people don't, but you can do this even if you don't have it, especially if you buy a unit like I do within a 5-mile radius, because you can get a wonderful deal on these things for a month or two. It's a month by month. And you can usually get it going there. I usually will get either the first or the second month free. And I'm usually out before 2 months. So sometimes I'll just take the second month free just to give me more time. But you can rent these units if you don't have the space. And that's one thing I tell people on our live. Don't let that stop you if you see something that you know you're going to do really well on. But the key is to get it close to home. You don't want to rent a storage unit 90 or 100 miles away. At least not I don't.
Well, one of the things too, you got to check with your units where you're at, because if you determine you want to purchase it for a month or two, like where I was at on mine, I even asked, if I were to sell some of these bigger items, can I have somebody meet me here at the unit? And the answer was yes, as long as I open the gate, because it is a coded gate, that I would let them in and then also make sure they leave. So you can even do something like that and have them go to the unit. Because when I lived in New Orleans, that's what I did. I would have them meet me there for the bigger furniture pieces. So that's something you want to consider too, especially if you're at a place where you can have them meet you there to pick it up.
Exactly.
But instead, if you don't want to move it. We have another question. How do you know how much your max bid is? Don't you have to pay to clean it out too if it's all junk?
Yeah, well, junk's easy. You just put it in the trash and you're done with it. Of course, that's easy for me to say. I got 3 55-gallon rolling cans, and Rumpke picks up once a week. So trash is easy. You just throw it away. I sort my stuff in like low dollar items, eBay items, stuff that we're going to sell on Facebook Marketplace, and just the little, and then the trash, of course. And a lot of the little low dollar stuff, we actually donate to Wayside Christian Mission unless we can specifically know we can sell it. And a lot of times we can't. So we just donate it, and we feel good about that. We donate lots of good stuff. That's why I say, if you know a storage auction buyer, or if you don't know a storage auction buyer, look, find one in your area and see if you can get in on some of the stuff they may be setting aside like that.
Well, also you want to remember too, a lot of the places will not allow you to throw large items into their dumpster. So a lot of times you do have to haul that off of the property. So you got to think of that as well. And make sure you ask those type of questions before you purchase anything. Because you can go directly to the website. For example, like when Mark shows on Sundays, the different locations, you can actually go to the location and then find out their information as far as what are their requirements. Are you able to buy it for a month or so and get a free month or whatever? Or are you allowed to throw any junk into their dumpsters? You got to find all that out before you actually go through that to protect yourself. And then once you get, and I think my next question is going to be more of a statement with Mark. So again, when you're doing this, you're kind of used to the same companies you're dealing with, so you kind of already know their rules, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of storage facilities in our area, and I know who I can trust and who I can't. So I have plenty of good storage facilities that I know the managers. You got to build relationships with the managers if you want to gain some advantages there. Because if you're getting along really good with them, they might just let you use the dumpster if it's a day before they're going to get the trash picked up, because they don't care. And so that's one little thing. You want to get in good with these managers, and then you know who you can trust.
And also, when you're done, make sure the whole place is cleaned out so you can get your deposit back, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to pay a deposit, which is more of your clean out when you leave. So you got to make sure it's clean. Yeah. Have you ever had any problems with that as far as getting your deposit back after you've emptied out a unit?
Only one time, and that was when I did an online, I won a locker at this place called Lighthouse, and you had to put a deposit. They took a deposit over the phone, so you had to put it on your debit card. Well, so I go out to pick this unit up. This one was like 15 miles away. They don't have anybody on site. They give you a combination to the lock, and you go in and open it up. Well, I didn't have anybody personally to go to get my deposit back. I called the people back. I said, I've got it all cleaned out. Okay, we'll send you your. It took 11 days to get my deposit back, and that's so. Wow. I don't buy from them anymore. Yeah. I don't buy from them anymore.
So Ryan has a question. What's the most profitable item you've found in a storage locker to date?
Well, it would be one locker I found well over $10,000 to $15,000 worth of jewelry. I've got a life-size statue of the great boxer Muhammad Ali. I've got a 2012 Kawasaki Vulcan chopper. Tools, I found a whole box, old metal box full of silver dollars, silver halves, silver dime, just silver coins. In a suitcase, I found one time full of sterling like cups and forks and spoons, all that stuff. It's so much stuff to be found out there. You just buy, it's a numbers game when you buy these things. And you can typically, if you just stick with it, you're going to find some amazing stuff. And it is so addictive. You never have to resource again if you buy a storage unit. You don't have to think, you don't have to look for stuff. You can go look in your building and find stuff you didn't even know you had in some instances. And it's amazing, Johnny, how this is, and how well you can do with these. And I've tried to tell people it's not that hard if you know all the ins and outs of how to do it. Because I'm an older guy and I do all this by myself. I bought pack 10 by 30s, pack 10 by 20s. Of course, I can't get them out in 2 days. I just rent them.
Blind Space Mars says, I bought a unit at an auction and just rented the unit. I am disabled and was out in a month. Yeah, it's just however fast you can do it. And if you have to, you can always rent the unit. Or some people who rent a main unit and put everything in one unit and work out of it as a working unit. Trash is not easy for the average person who doesn't have a truck or dumpster access. And a lot of times you do have, like when I lived in New Orleans, we had a free site that we can bring our dumpster stuff to, but it was like a certain day of the week and you had to be living in that zip code and it was free. But a lot of times you just throw it in your trash cans at your roadside. Do them as much as you can at the road. That we don't have to pay for it.
I mean, if you've got a home, it's really easy. If you live in an apartment, you can use the dumpsters in your apartment complex. So, and then you'll just have to work out
a pre-relationship with the storage units. Actually, it's depending on the company. Like Mark was just saying, one of those where he went to, there was nobody on site. So those are the ones you want to kind of stay away from because you want to have somebody physically there that you can talk with. Because a lot of times it gets all mixed up in phone calls.
Yes,
How
exactly.
do you find people local that sell out of units? My daughter needs stuff.
Well, you can look at some of these Facebook groups, and we sell on Marketplace, but we also join some of these Facebook groups, and you can look at people selling there, and then you can go to their page, and if they're buying storage units, you'll know it when you go to their page, and you can reach out to them, and and find out if they have stuff they sell in bulk, low dollar items, medium dollar, whatever. Just build a relationship with somebody, and like I did with Jay. He's invaluable to my system to have a guy that I can be a middleman to, and not even have to make a sale. We just trade, and everything. We're done. Yeah,
I've found in our area a couple of times there's one of the units in the next town over. Everybody can open their units and sell right out of their units on a specific weekend of the year, through the different seasons. So you may want to check your local newsletters. A lot of times they'll talk about that in the newsletters or your local newspaper, little pamphlets they put out, because I know we have one in our town, and they open it up, and the people who have those units can sell right out those units. You get a lot of connections that way. LL storage unit heaven here. They're constantly building new storage places out here. Randy says the curb pickup. Buying Space says can do the regular basics. Yeah, we use our pickup here is once a week, so you can put it all out there as long as you can. My curb pickup even charges for pickup a huge amount. Really? Yeah, that's something new here too about the mattresses. You have to pay to get them moved. But what I've done is I even connected with a local organization where they do it for free, but you do have to pay them for their gas, which is still a donation, where they'll come out and pick up all furniture for anything that they use for homeless. So you might want to check into your local area and see if you can do that. Johnny can't afford me. Can't afford you for what? What are you talking about, Craig?
Wake up, Craig.
Yeah, wake up. I don't know what conversation you talking about there.
I love it when Craig does that, man. He's funny.
That was an out there question statement. Lockers, clean out. Yeah, a lot of times you do have to put your deposit down when you're paying for the unit. You have your deposit for your clean out for when you do get it all emptied out, and then you have your payment for your storage unit, and then you also have the payment for the person or the group of company that you've done the auction with, which is their usual cost that you have to pay them. Correct?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Can you hear that in the background? I just turned my fan on. Is that messing with my volume, my sound? Okay, no. Good. Yeah. Okay. What was that question? I'm sorry.
So, for example, when you go, the question was, buying lockers. Where's that? I don't understand how fortunate I am here. The thing was in reference to when you're purchasing, for example, you have to pay when you buy a unit on online auction. There's going to be the price you pay to the auction company or whatever company is doing the auction. Then you have to pay the storage unit cash when you go out there to pay them for the unit. And then you also have to pay the deposit, which is usually 9 times out of 10, the cleaning deposit you will get back when you empty the unit out.
Yeah, you get that back as soon as you clean it out. Now, there's a little bit of a tip here. When you rent the unit, you get your deposit back. So you don't have to clean it out to get your deposit back if you rent it. I hope that helps. Let's see, what did I miss on that? I think.
So in other words, the payment's not always one solid payment when you went on the auctions. You have to kind of pay different people, and when you go to the unit,
you're going to have a card on file. You have a card on file, a debit card or whatever, and then they take. If on Storage Treasures, if you're a pro member like I am, it's $10 a month, and you get 15%. Now that's gone up. If you're not a pro member, it's 18%. So at 3%, that's $30 on a $1,000 unit, which I typically get into easily. So yeah, for me, it's an advantage to pay the $10 a month and get it for a little bit cheaper. And now they've got it to where if you have a new account, you can't bid over $1,000 until you've bought and cleaned out 3 or 5 of them. It's a new rule because they've had a lot of people getting fake accounts and just bidding up everybody and just making a joke of the whole system. So they're doing that to help the.
Okay, I missed that statement. Mara says, I asked Craig when is his interview was going to be. And that's couldn't afford him. That's a true statement. A lot of times, if you're buying these storage units and you are on Facebook Marketplace, you can take those pictures right there from the storage unit. Now, Mark, don't you take a lot of it to your home and you have a shed or something? You do all this in your backyard?
Yeah, we had a sidewalk we had put in the back and going into one of our buildings, and we just stage our stuff out there and take pictures of it, and then we list it from there. But I have sold right out of a storage unit. I had one where I had a whole bedroom suite, and it was the last thing I took out, and I staged that locker with this bedroom suite. I mean, $500 later, boom, just like that. They come and pick it up. I never had to move it out of there, and I just took the money. There you go.
That's the best ones.
Amen.
Yep. Hello, Susie. Hello, everyone that's coming in. I'm trying to get you as I see you coming in. What is the average storage unit buy at auctions?
You mean the cost? The average storage.
Are you talking about the size or are you talking about the cost? There's different size in units.
You know, typically the big bangers are like at least a 10 by 20. You can get good 10 by 10s, 10 by 30s. I think Johnny bought a 10 by 40.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they come in all sizes, even down to like a 3 by 3. I mean, some of these little stack lockers that you can get just a little personal locker.
Now, there's some companies that do storage boxes. In other words, it's little cubicles like, instead of just a unit where you would go in and go through the doors and go get the door and slide the doors open. They have some that actually open like a box. So each different company is different. Good morning, Renee. I will do storage units one day. Well,
do it, man.
Yeah, I'm going to be reaching out to you, Chuck, because he does a lot of auctions in his area, but a different style auction.
Average score. I think he means
scores for units.
Score. That's a hard one to answer there.
Same cost.
Well, I mean, these lockers are going to cost anywhere from $50 to $5,000 and up. I mean, it just depends.
It also depends on how much you're willing to pay for that locker and how much you see in there it's worth it. For me, the one I bought that was a 20 by 50, a 20 by 40. Yeah, it was a 20 by 40. It had two doors, one on each end. My final bid was $1,250. But I can tell you right now, I've already made my profit and then some. So there's some things, and I'm just trying to figure out where to put them because there's some bigger pieces. So I'm going to be putting those on Facebook Marketplace. And a lot of things I put in my antique booth. If you buy a unit online, do you still have to pay in cash? In person, you pay in cash only.
Well, you could go to the facility and you can pay either by debit card or cash. I mean, But when you're on Storage Treasures, you read below about the facility, and they'll tell you in there what you have to do. You know, if they take, some places only take cash.
Well, not only that, if it's your first time, 9 times out of 10, they're going to make you bring them cash. Once you get used to, like Mark was saying, once you get into in knowing somebody at a particular unit, then they'll take a credit card or check or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, when you're first starting out, they want cash. They want to make sure you build that rapport with them. I know when I paid, I had to bring the cash and I had to bring a separate $200 for the deposit. Even though I did go ahead and rent it for a month, I still had to pay that deposit. But you get the deposit when you return it and it's cleaned out. So you got to, whatever their rules are, you got to go by what their rules are. They'll even tell you when you're on the screen to make sure you get your notification on what is the next procedures you have to do if you win a bid. And then you have to go to that website. Even before you start bidding, you can check it and say, okay, what are their right guidelines? And they'll tell you, you have to bring cash in for this. If you win your bid, you got to pay the storage auction place for that. And then you got to bring in deposit or whatever. So you got to read all that and make sure you understand it before you accept and do your first bid.
And always remember this. This is very important, Johnny. It's not your unit until you get there and actually pay and get, because they only take out part of the payment. That's just, they'll take it out and then they apply that towards what you owe when you get there. But by law, it's not your unit until you paid in full. So until you get actually, unless they take payment over the phone, some places will take payment over the phone. But if they don't, you better haul some and get there and pay that, or you're going to lose it. And I have done that. I've lost lockers pulling into the facility before. And, you know, that's good. They got their stuff back. But that's not the part I'm concerned with. My concern is getting the lock. Their concern should be to pay for their stuff.
Well, again, that brings me to my next question, though. Whenever somebody wins a bid, again, like you were saying, you have to be there as soon as possible to give them that cash, because if you get there before the person who had the unit, and if they pay before you get there, they get that unit back. So in other words, you won't be, and you lose. Don't you lose whatever the auction was? No,
well, you lose the locker, obviously, and then you've got to go back to Storage Treasures, and they'll reimburse all what they
right. So get there as soon as you can. If they say bring cash, like in my instance, I went when I knew I was able to get it the next day. Once I won, I was already at the bank, got my money because they did not open until 10 o'clock. So I was already at my bank for 8 o'clock, got the money out, got the cash, and went straight there and was waiting for them to open the door. And that's what you basically have to do if you really want that unit. Raina says online you would be it's impossible to pay cash. Yes, debit or credit. Yeah. Good morning, Tooch. But you have to make sure you make those arrangements. But you have to pay before they get there.
It can be online, and you still have to pay cash. They'll take it out, the part of the payment, but when you get there, you have to pay the rest in cash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure you read the fine print on what they offer, what they ask for, and what you have to do. Because if you don't do it before that person who originally had the unit, that before it went to auction, because they can still get it until that money is in that person, in that company's hand. So yeah.
Good question down there.
All right. You ever resell a locker back to the original owner of the unit?
That's a very good question. I'm going to touch on that. And I've got a video coming up every Monday night now at 7 o'clock. I have a new video coming out. That's one of them's going to touch on this. There was a thing going around on the in the storage auction community a few years ago called Restorage the Love, and they were making videos about giving things back to these people, the former owners. Very dangerous to do that. Okay, you do not want to contact former owners for your own safety and common sense. Not all these people are going to be stable, folks. You're going to get a feely good story in some of these, but my partner that I bought with there for a while, Hunter of Icy Profits. In this video we got coming out, I think it's in like a month. I got one scheduled all the way into November right now, but he's telling a story about what happened to him when Public Storage gave out his number to the lady, and he was a little bit upset about that, but he tried to help her and get her stuff back, but it was never enough. I'll let him explain it in the video, and I'll say all I can here, but You do
I've
not
seen
want to
some,
contact
I've seen some
the
videos
broker.
where they have some people who bought a unit and gave it back to the people. Yes, I have seen that. But the only thing I've ever done, and I'm sure Mark has done this, if the unit says they at least get their personal property back. So if I'm going through a unit, I'm putting stuff aside. Like, for example, the last unit I just bought, it had a whole bunch of pictures, kids photos, family photos, a wedding dress, you name it. That's, to me, it's personal stuff. I put it aside and gave it to the unit manager, and they made sure to give it back to the people.
That's
Some
the way to
people
do it.
don't want it. Some people just don't care. So yeah, you got to kind of find out about that and give back that personal information.
Yeah, anything that you want to give back to the customer, do not seek out that customer. Go to the manager and use them as a go-between and let them do it. If they want to do it, that's great. Then you leave all the personal items, all the things that you think that she might want back, or well, of course they're going to want all the stuff you're not willing to give back.
Yeah.
But you've got to, give back all the stuff that has like tax papers, photographs, personalized stuff. Now, if it's made of gold, I'm sorry, folks.
Right.
You might lose that.
That's not going back.
That's not going back. So don't store
Renee
it.
has a question. Johnny, is this a recent storage unit for you, or it was for you, and is it your first? No, it was not my first. When I lived in New Orleans, I used to buy a lot of storage units there and storage unit auctions in person. And then I would turn around and flip them and do them in garage sales or have people come by and pick it up. At that time, I was not really considered, and I wasn't a reseller doing that as full time. So I guess back in those days when New Orleans, I was a part timer, not realizing it. It was just something I was doing as a hobby. And now it's like an income, So yeah. Who is the guest? This is none other than Sarcastic Storage Stacker Mark. He's on every Sunday at noon with Storage Bandits, and they do a lot with, you can put in your zip code, and they look up storage units for you.
Ooh, Randy's got a good question.
Have you ever bought a unit with a human ashes in it? Not me.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Let's see. Some people can definitely be unstable. Yeah.
You got that right.
How does HIPAA affect buying storage units?
Well, HIPAA's not on. HIPAA's on the people that are supposed to protect it. That's not on anybody else. That's for the people who have your information. It's not on anybody who might stumble upon it.
Yeah. For example, if you're at a local medical facility, that's where they use the HIPAA program or the HIPAA policies. But if you're buying a storage unit, you win the storage unit, it's between you and the management saying, okay, look, this is personal stuff, medical records or whatever, give it back to them, put it in a box and say, okay, this is for them. And usually you can leave it in the unit when you go to close it and let the manager know the things that are left there are for the unit, the personal information or personal property. And you let them know that so they can give it to that person. But 9 times out of 10, I just make an arrangement and they come and pick it up, the manager of the units.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have anything to do with what you find in those units.
Yeah, HIPAA's not on anybody that's not related to having to protect that information. That's on the people that hold that information.
Ryan has a question. Maybe I missed it. What websites do you use and trust to local storage units?
StorageTreasures.com is my favorite. I like Locker Fox. Those are the two specifically. But right now I'm buying like 99% of my lockers on StorageTreasures.com.
And you can become a member for like $10.
You can do it for free.
And you can do it for free, but you can also do it as a membership for $10. I think it is.
Yeah, and you get less where they take less out. You get a buyer's premium is less, so you save money if you buy a lot.
If you do a lot,
or buy
they'll help out. Well, yeah, because you buy a lot of units, so that would help you and benefit you compared to somebody who might do it once in a while.
Well, I look at it this way: if I just buy one big banging locker, for a few grand, then that's going to save me money for the rest of the year. So it's all going to be worth it in the long run. You might 1 month it might not help you at all, but in the long run, you're going to be better off if you buy large storage.
And Renee would like to know, where are you located?
I'm in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, you can still get good deals. Now, I want to clarify something, and Mark, I'm sure can agree with me on this. I know we all used to seeing storage wars.
Yeah.
That is totally different than being in person with a storage unit or online. It is totally different. There's nothing like that in real life. So that is my opinion about that.
Well,
Someone said, to be a storage wars was fake. Would you say that them about? What would you say to them about that statement? Well, again, that's all the show. Mark, what's your opinion on that?
Well, the storage wars in itself was real, but here was the problem with storage wars. They, the producers, you know, if they just open up regular storage units with this mundane stuff, they're not going to make a lot of money in the episodes. So what they were doing, they were salting units with items that the buyers had previously found maybe in another unit, and they're building the unit up. And they do kind of have little scripts going on there, but it's actually real, but it was kind of salted into it. Yeah, it's not all real, but the actual act of selling the units was real, but they kind of doctored them. It already came out when David Hester, one of the guys on our, I believe he ended up suing A&E over the whole thing, and he spilled the beans. Yeah.
Well, I from experience on my end, I used to go to a lot of in-person auctions. There was none of that. You know, you may have your regulars that you see on almost every auction you go to, but 9 times out of 10, it's nothing like what you see on TV. There is going to be some people that just don't care and bid whatever they want to bid to try to upbid you, and then all of a sudden you're stuck with it. So you got to make sure whatever you're bidding on, especially if it's in real person life, you're in there in person. You better make sure you have the cash for whatever it is, and make sure you stop at your limit. Because some people, you get caught in that moment where it's like in person and you just want to keep bidding. You want it. But then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now I got to go get more money. So you got to be careful with that.
You know, on storage wars, I mean, those guys might make like $20,000 to $40,000 an episode, so they can go in there and buy a locker for free. You know, they can bid like, you know, I mean, you're going to get $20,000 for each shit, for each show. So why not just reinvest that into some good merch?
That isn't true, Patrick.
Salted. That's like saying things in the
Renee, here's a link for the storage stacker. That's Mark right here. There's his channel right here that Jennifer dropped in the chat. If you want to check out his channel, he does that every Sunday. And then every Monday, he drops a video at 7 o'clock that you can go and watch. I think you got it to what? September, October, some of that.
He was. You
have videos uploaded for every Monday. For how long now?
I'm into November now. My goal is to get 2 years ahead and always stay 2 years ahead. If anything ever happens to me, I'm going to be on YouTube for 2 years longer. So how about that? And see, now when I'm getting new content, as soon as I get a new locker, then I'm scheduling that and then rescheduling the one that would have come out to another time. You see what I'm doing here? Right. So I have been working diligently to get a lot of my content remastered from the past. Because not that many people saw it because my channel was much smaller than it is now. Not that I'm big now, but I am much bigger than I was. So I'm remastering that with a better editor and with more knowledge of editing. And it's, anyway, I'm getting a little off topic.
Before I open the chat up for anybody to come on up, don't forget, I want you to give those who have never done a storage unit before, what few tips would you give them if they're thinking about getting into buying storage units? What would be some tips you would give them before they make that leap or that step to start getting into storage units before I drop the link?
Well, one thing you're going to want to do, you're going to want to just start out small. Look for the little 5x5s that you can put in your car. If you can fit it in your car, you don't have to worry about the space. So start small, learn how to move the stuff, get systems in place where you can sell the stuff before you get into all this stuff. Just learn it first. Trial and error. Buy small units. Start small. And then move up to the bigger ones as you learn. And once you hit that big first hit where you find that cache of jewelry or whatever item you covet, you're going to be addicted for the rest of your life. And this is something you can do when you retire. You can do it for the rest of your life. I mean, I swear by it. I am addicted to this. It's so much fun. And
You have to
find
have
some
fun doing
amazing things.
Randy has a question for you. How do you have the computer space for those videos? I am running out of room.
Well, you get some thumb drives, or I've got another computer that I was using years ago that I just fished out of my storage building out back. And I'm going to go back and find some of my old files, and they're going to be a wealth of stuff to bring back to the channel.
Randy, invest in an external hard drive. These can hold a lot of information and a lot of videos. This is where I put all my old my videos on. When I'm done and uploading them, they stay on this hard drive. And I have a second one at that. So there are 2 different hard drives that I use. And that's perfect for you, the way you don't have to use it on your computer and get all your information bogging down your computer.
Yeah, those work great too, man. If you buy enough storage units, you get all this stuff out of storage units. You don't even have to buy them. You get all kinds of stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see here. There is a trick in almost everything sellable. Little selling sources. Yes, and you got to let people know what you do. You know, like Mark has somebody he borders with, where he'll exchange stuff because that person's an eBay reseller, and in change he gets gold and silver.
Yeah.
So yeah. I
I probably only sell like 20% of the stuff out of storage units, you know, that I buy, because I barter the rest, and we sell all the big ticket items, Facebook Marketplace, bundle sell the rest, and we typically the lowest dollar item we'll put up, I think we put up for $10. I think that's
and the fun thing about it is when you're going through, like you find a little trunk, or you find an old padlock on a cedar chest, a whole cedar chest. You just don't know what's in there until you open it. So that excitement builds yourself up by like, oh, let's see what's in there. Is it heavy? Is it light? And it's amazing what you find in those units. I want to
tell everybody a little secret here if you want to hear it. Little lock boxes that you see, they're not bad. They might make a good video segment, but where the good pop is dresser drawers. If people have put away their dressers and haven't taken the stuff out of the drawers, those are where you find a wealth of good stuff.
And you know, this is a tip that I want to give everybody that I don't see a lot of people doing when I'm watching storage unit videos. They don't go through everything. Check your clothing, check the pockets, check those garbage bags that have clothes sitting in it. Check those envelopes that have gift cards in it. You may never know if that gift card is still there, or cash. Look at all the books. There's a lot of times where I find a book where you go to scan it and there's money flying out of the sheets of the pages. Because back in the day, they would hide their money in their Bibles or their books. When I'm going through clothing, I check everything, because that's where I found some gold and silver tucked away in a garbage bag of clothing. So the rule of thumb is check everything. Don't miss by looking. Don't miss and don't look at it. Look at all. Look at all. Look at all of it.
I found a wedding band one time in somebody's pants pocket. You know, they might have been clubbing that night and were catting around. Who knows?
Forgot about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. You just never know where they might have forgot they put it there. So check everything. Don't assume.
Check all the pockets and clothes. Typically, you only have to check if people generally are very loose with their change, or they're folding money, or they're very tight with it. So if you're going into a unit and you're finding purses with a lot of coins in the bottom, they're all going to be like that probably. Yep. But people that are very tight with their, watching their pennies, you're not going to find a lot. So you may not want to check all the pockets after you've already checked 30 of them. But if you've got a locker where they're kind of loose with their money, you're going to want to check everything.
Here's a great question. Are there items you cannot sell or have to report finding to a higher authority?
The only thing that I report to a higher authority, I never want to put myself in a position like that unless it's something that you get in trouble for pulling out of there. Like one guy that we were at a live auction, this dumb guy pulled a meth lab out of the storage unit and went to the next lot. It was at the live auctions. You go into all the facilities, driving to one to the other for the auction. He pulled a meth lab out of there. So they called the police. He finally got out of it, but he damn near got arrested for that because that was stupid. So yeah, if you see anything like that, if you can't just throw it away and be done with it, just use common sense, folks.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of videos where they would what's his name in California. He would take and call the cops every time he found the gun in his units.
Oh, they just wanted to do that to get the view. You never
Exactly.
call the cops for a gun in a unit. Guns are legal.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to talk about that, so we won't. So
well, but the sense is there's things legally you should do depending on what it is compared to you don't have to for everything you find in your units.
Yeah.
That's the part.
Yeah,
about
I mean,
that.
just use common sense. That's the best thing I could say. Don't pull a meth lab out of there.
Let's see here.
Jennifer.
Yeah. Again, you don't have to do anything with them. And unless you want to check and make sure that report is stolen. But yeah, with firearms, how does that work anyway? When you do find firearms,
well, I found tons of them, and I kept them all. I don't really sell them. I mean, I just collect them. I'm a
What's
collector.
up, Chris? Well, everybody's different, so it depends on what you have in your town. Sometimes you do have to report it or see and make sure it's not.
Well, they'll say that, but you can check if a gun is. Try not to use that word. I know you don't want to do. You can check if it's on. How do I put this? You can check yourself to see if it's stolen. You can run the serial number yourself.
Right, the serial number. You have to look at the serial number.
Yes, you can do that yourself. I mean, any item in there could be stolen. It's not just that. I mean,
well, one of the things too, though, if you're finding something like that and you do want to keep it, wouldn't you want to go ahead and register it as yours?
No, I don't ever suggest ever registering your guns.
Okay.
Because what's the point?
Well,
I mean,
hopefully you don't get caught with it and you're not supposed to have it. You know?
No, you don't have to. Well, I mean, I'm just check your state laws, but I mean, you don't have to. I think I've got, I don't know, maybe 30 to 35 of them. Only
I know in Louisiana,
when you buy them at a pawn shop, for instance, you have to. But you buy them it depends on how you buy them, or get them.
So if and when in doubt, check your local municipality.
Yeah, but you don't have to put yourself on the burner. You can just check. You don't have to throw yourself into a can of paint, Yeah,
it also depends on your state laws. So definitely check.
Yeah.
Now, whatever you find it is, it's yours because you purchased it, but just check with your state laws.
Exactly.
So if anybody else has any other questions having to do with units of storage units, other to purchase it, what to do with it once you purchase it, that's what we are here for today. We'll be hopefully every Tuesday and Thursday starting this month. We'll be bringing you up some other guests with different ways of sourcing with question and answers about those. I know this Thursday we'll have Grandma's Closet on, and we're going to be talking about unboxing the mystery boxes for purchasing either through, you have Goodwill Blue Boxes, you have ThreadUp, Etsy, and much, much more. So that'll be our show for Thursday. Right now, I sent out a couple of emails for next week, and I have a couple other names I'm going to reach out for other types of sourcing. So that's what everybody wanted, and so I'm bringing it in the shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. A whole unit full of car radios. Oh well. You'd be surprised what you find in some of them storage units.
I find a lot of those car radios because people buy new sets to put in there, and then they put their old one in storage.
If you buy them in a storage unit, they already got all the information. Yes. Yeah, you already know who you're gonna. You won't know who had it before you, but they will. So if anybody has any other questions, please feel free to ask away in the chat. And I want to thank Mark for coming on up and covering this topic today.
I love it,
man.
man.
The best thing you see in a unit, like, what do you look for in the pictures?
I'm looking for old stuff, signs that somebody's passed away, signs that the stuff's been in there for a long time due to the dust. Looking at items I can hang my hat on. Like if I see like an antique bed or an antique vanity or something, that's why I bought this last unit I bought. I already know that that's good money around here. And I can bid up to that point and go beyond it if there's mystery, because the bang for your buck is what you can't see. And you profile it from what you can see. And you get it, your spidey signals start sending out messages to you. I'm going to get this. And that's when I don't care. I'm going to buy that unit unless it goes just astronomically bad.
Well, like Mark was saying at the beginning, once you start looking into these units on their, blow up the pictures. See if there's like crates that are clear and see-through, because 9 times out of 10 you'll be able to see what's in those crates. If you can try to make it out by enlarging the photos, that way you get an idea of what might be in there. But you just never know. You gotta have that gut feeling. You gotta go with your gut, and don't overbid. If you can't afford a higher unit and you want a limit, set your limit. Is my opinion on that. Because you do not want to go over your limit and you're going to feel really bad about it after the fact.
I've seen people, though, and the other side of that, Johnny, there's a unit that's like $1,000 it's up to, and they've been going at it. They've got it up to 1,000. But it's such a good unit, and you think if you bid 1,000, you're thinking you're going to get 2 or more thousand back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to stop on a $10 increment at that point. You know, I mean, that takes a lot of discipline, but a lot of times that discipline can cost you, because scared money don't make no money. That's one thing Pirate. One thing I remember what Pirate was, that scared money don't make no money. That's right.
What's the website you would go to check the serial numbers on those?
Just look it up and just type that into a Google search. Check if you type what you're looking for into a Google search, those will come up. And then you can check to see if they're stolen or not.
What is the best? So messy units or very organized units? What is better?
Well, you're going to get good in either one. There's no set way to do it. I've seen people score big time with just the crappiest looking unit. You just got to decide what. Use your own discernment in these, and from your experiences, and just go with a little bit of your gut.
And when you're first starting out, don't go bigger. Don't go to these big units. Don't go to this high stuff. Start small.
Yeah,
because
if you start out, get a 5x5.
Yeah. If they don't have a 5x5, go by what is it? A 5x10 or a 10x5, whatever, depending on how the units are made.
Yeah, start small and work your way up. Get to know what you're doing.
Yeah, because the more you get into these bigger units, you're going to scare yourself away from not wanting to do it anymore.
You got to get outside of your comfort zone, folks. If you think, oh my God, that's the kind you want to get into. I'm telling you, once you start seeing the big dollars, you don't care about whatever you got to do. Like I said, just rent the daggone unit and relax. Yep. Sit back and relax and realize, man, I am going to make bank here.
Yeah, especially if you're doing it by yourself, don't overdo it. Try to do the best you can, but yeah, don't overdo it.
See, a 70-year-old guy can do this and buy the big units. You can too. You know.
Yes, make sure when you're targeting these units, especially online, you can see the dust on these items. There's no doubt about it. If you happen to see things that are like some items are dusty and some aren't, then you know that somebody has been in there putting new stuff in recently. But you can tell the difference if it's an older unit that's never been opened compared to some that have been opened and added to. So you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
Target places to choose where they live. Okay. So yeah, definitely pick your first units at the right spot. Mark storage unit auctions on Sunday. There's the link right there, y'all.
Yeah, every Sunday at 12. We start out the show. We usually goof off and talk about any and everything. And sometimes it gets a little crazy. But at 12:30 to 1:30, we look up storage units for anybody that wants that. You know, so if you just want to come in specifically for storage unit talk, it's usually from 12:30 to 1:30. Sometimes we'll stay on till like 2. We've done that before. But we've been doing it this is our 3rd year now. We're not highly popular because of our time slot, and we don't sell things, but we have a lot of fun, and we have made people really good money on units we profile for them.
Now, Randy, don't put yourself out there without saying don't do it, because that's what you're going to find. You'll be surprised on how many college students do have a lot of money from their family, and they have a lot of nice furniture. You know, you just never know. So don't categorize it as because it's college students.
I mean, take that information into heart when you're looking at these. If you know it's a college student's locker, you're going to want to bid accordingly if there's stuff you like in there.
Yeah, you may be looking at more clothing and electronics more than anything.
Yeah, you know.
Yep. Well, everybody, again, thank you, Mark, for coming on for the first of the new series of asking questions about sourcing. If anybody has any ideas or knows of anyone who does different types of resourcing, reach out to me, and I'll be glad to get them on a scheduled on the calendars between Tuesdays and Thursdays. I already have a couple of names lined up. I already sent out some more emails out, so we'll be adding on to each week as we go. So always make sure you listen for Tuesdays and Thursdays on who the guest is and what type of sourcing we're talking about, because we want you to come on in and bring your questions. We gave our daughter nice furniture when they went to college because that's what we had. Exactly. You know, you just don't know. So again, if you have any more questions, go back on Sundays and make sure you check out Mark's live show every Sunday. He starts at 12, and he has you at this 12:30 time slot. He'll turn around and ask you to drop a zip code if you want him to look up any units. And one of the things I have to say is that he will go in there and tell you, stay away from these units. This is a manager special. Don't go into this one. Or this may be a good one because this is what I see. This is what I think I see. Or stay away from this one because this is what I don't see and what you don't want to have. So definitely go in on Sundays and check them out if you're interested. When he asks you to drop a zip code, you can drop your zip code and he'll search it for you with Hume and Glenn. And Glenn also does this as well. So they kind of feed back off each other when it comes to stay away or go for it. So definitely do that. And again, thank you, Mark, for coming on today. And don't forget, today at 12:45, I do have the rapid fire round of showcasing of members. So before we get going, Mark, tell everybody a little bit about what you got going on. When do you have your pre-recorded videos that come out?
Oh, okay, guys. Now, last night I got off the beaten path. I put up a video where I ate 16 hot peppers in a row, and it's very entertaining. But I don't every now and then I have a variety channel, so I put up stuff like that. But mostly it's storage auction. Every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to have a storage auction video, and maybe once every 5 or 6 weeks, I might throw in a heat challenge or something like that. But mostly we're all about storage units. And every Sunday, it's 12 p.m. We have our live stream, and all my long form videos come out on Monday. And there might be something in the future where I'm going to add more videos than I'm doing now. But right now, I'm just trying to get caught up. And let's see. I guess that's about it.
So make sure you check out his channel.
One more thing. One more thing. Next week, I have a collab video where I was with Jay and Hunter, Icy Profits, and Ben the Bartender, and a few other YouTubers. We had a big collab. We was at a live auction. We had a lot of fun. This video is coming out next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is a lot of fun. And we got a locker all together. And we went in this thing. And it was a good locker. We all went in together. It was a lot of fun. And that's next week. There's going to be a lot of good stuff.
So there's several comments in the chat. One thing you did not talk about was your cats.
Oh, I love it. All right, guys. For the last 2 years, because they're a big part of my life, so they have to be a big part of my channel. I've been putting up 6 to 10 shorts every day for over 2 years. And that helps my growth as well, because shorts are the way to do it, man. If you want to grab some.
Before we close the show, talk a little bit about the last video you did about that quilt that's right behind you.
Oh, this one right here. Yeah, this was a unit that I got for $300. And all I saw in there was this big footboard or headboard to an antique bed. And when I see antiques, I got to buy them. It had dust in there, antiques, and some mystery boxes. I went all in. And, of course, I found the trunk that was hiding in there, opened up the trunk. Bingo, and I decided to keep this one. I think it's really nice, so I decided to keep it. The reason why, Johnny,
yep,
the smell on this thing was so antique-y that I didn't even wash it. I just had to have that antique smell, man.
There was so many quilts, and the first thing I made a comment on that video when he showed that trunk was you can tell those were all hand-sewn quilts. quilts. You can tell. So you just don't know what you're going to find in those units. So as I say before you end each and every show, thank each and every one of you for coming out again. Don't forget, every morning we have the morning show, but every Tuesday and Thursday, I'm trying to have a guest with a different way of sourcing, and that way you can ask your questions on those type of sourcing. We'll come back on Thursday with grandmas, and tomorrow will just be whatever we ask in the chat, as we do usually. So again, if you have any questions, make sure you come in the morning and show and ask. There's one of the babies.
That's Chucky.
So as I say before I end each and every show, thank each and every one of you for coming out and asking you questions, and hopefully it was helpful, getting you into thinking about doing storage units. And so as I say before I end each and every show, love always, love is always free. Please be kind to one another until we meet into another chat. Have a blessed and fabulous day until we meet again. Later. Peace out. And y'all
Thanks,
come
everybody.
back.
Appreciate the questions. Thank you,
And
Johnny,
thank you
for having
again,
me.
Mark.
Let's see here.